Then comes a pivotal moment when you just shifted and you thought, is a time now to chase your dream.
There was a time when there was a inkling. Let's do something different. Let's go out and make an impact.
What was the, I think, storm in you? What all did you face as an individual?
The storm was more on creating a startup. So I don't come from a business background. I'm a family of engineers. I wasn't afraid of the unknown or creating something because of the experience and the drive I had for running initiatives, be it on the tech space or be it on women empowerment. So I've done a lot of that. You are grown up with the thought process that stability is good. And you have to challenge your own biases in that journey. And I guess at some time addressing that takes more energy than addressing what's coming from the surrounding.
And I think that is very well said, because if you are coming up with any idea, you will have to believe and buy in your idea yourself first, and then the world will buy it in. And then you can negotiate with the world. You will have to first make yourself at peace with the idea which has come up.
Actual plunging into it happened actually just 2 weeks before COVID.
2 weeks before COVID.
Yes.
And then
So last day of my job was just 2 weeks before COVID. In that 2 weeks, actually, nobody knew what was coming. So when we talk about mindset, especially for making things successful, is to first accept that we don't know it all.
It's more about the journey which we walk rather than the destination where we want to reach, because the destination might change, and it will be, believe me, it will be much more beautiful than what you expected. I think that is being rightly said by you.
Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to my channel Unheard Tales, where I bring stories to you and also the journeys which covers some bold decisions and some brave beginning. So today, if you are standing at an edge where you are still wondering, what if I have to leave my well-settled job and then I have to chase my dream? So you are in a dilemma of what you should go for, chase your dream or look forward to your comfort zone where you are still right now placed. Today, we are going to unveil a journey which is taken up by a wonderful guest on my show, Stueti Gupta ji, who will be soon talking to you all, revealing the truth of a journey which she has taken up as an entrepreneur, and we'll get a lot more to learn from her and how we can come out of that place which we are currently in, thinking about being at which side of the coin. So today we have on our show Stueti Gupta ji, who is also a founder of Bluekei Solutions. So I have given a little hint to my audience. To begin with, I'll just take you to a little one, rewind the clock, take you back in time, and I would like you to let us know where were you placed before being the founder of this company.
Thank you, first of all, Divya, for having me here. It's a moment, to reflect and bring that journey back, sort of rewind and share that with you. So very happy to be doing that this morning. So it's been 5 years now since Bluekei started. Quite a enriching journey it has been. But before Bluekei, I was working in a multinational engineering organization. The company has products in off-highway equipment sector. So I was in a very core industry. I myself am a mechanical engineer. So it was, at that moment, it was a dream job to work with such a high-tech, complex equipment manufacturing organization as a mechanical engineer.
And that's great to know. And that is very important to understand what she just said. She's saying that she is a mechanical engineer, and then she was working with the organization which is somebody's dream to work for. So a settled job. And then comes a pivotal moment when you just shifted and you thought, is a time now to chase your dream. So how did that pivotal shift happen in your life?
I would say I was growing very well in the organization. I got excellent opportunities. I grew into leadership roles from an individual contributor in technical role. I had quite a visibility in the organization. I was part of many initiatives, and I think by and large, I myself and many of my good colleagues, they thought that I will retire out of that organization because I love the organization. I gave it a lot, and it gave a lot to me in return towards my own professional development and also personal development, because early career you are learning a lot of things about corporate job. And there was a time when there was a inkling, let's do something different, let's go out and make an impact. But I wanted to stay in the technology space, and wanted to give myself that opportunity. So there was a moment which fit well from a personal and a professional standpoint to take that risk or take that decision, and so I just took it. But if you ask me today, I would have not believed that I took that decision at that time.
And that is the best part of it, because we know the previous phase of a person, we know the current phase of a person, but we hardly know that that storm which a person goes through in between that transition, where it's very difficult for someone, because if you are a beginner and you are taking up a startup, it becomes much easier, I would say, because you have nothing to lose. But when you are in a settled situation, it gets much more, I think, complicated. So I would like to know, what was the, I think, storm in you? What all did you face as an individual? Now I'd like to just ask about you, then the surrounding. Sure. So what, as an individual, did you feel during that transition phase?
As an individual, quite active in doing a lot of I would say right from childhood extracurricular, something beyond the normal regime of doing things. So apart from studies, part of extracurricular. In college, I was part of a lot of initiatives. Was part of, I was holding leadership posts in my department associations, like within mechanical engineering department or the physics department that I was part of. That continued until my masters and everything, and that continued even in the corporate life. So I wasn't afraid of the unknown or creating something because of the experience and the drive I had for running initiatives, be it on the tech space or be it on women empowerment. So I've done a lot of that. So I think the storm was more on creating a startup. So I don't come from a business background. I'm a family of engineers. My father retired of the same organization after 40-45 years. So you can imagine the kind of thing I was seeing in my immediate sphere of influence. That was the thing that was giving butterflies in the stomach. Would I be able to do it? Do I know enough to be able to do it, right? It's very easy to know business acumen if you're coming from a business family. You can pick it, you can have conversations in the house. I did not have that to start with. I had to rely on my network and other resources to build that understanding, and that was probably the only storm, but it was a big storm.
Big storm. So now I think I could get two things very important from the thing which you just talked about. One was, I think, taking up extracurricular activities. And I think that is very important, not because that sometimes gives you a passion, but that is something helps you to do multiple things at a time, because most of the people give up because they think that I do not have enough time to chase my dream or to just plan my dream. They do not have enough time. So if you train a child, I think from the beginning, to take up extracurricular activity, they know how to do the time management and think two parallel things in together, and then it's up to their choice to take it up.
Very well said.
And the other thing which I then analyzed from your conversation just right now is that that willingness to do something, to do the research. You said it's very important, because many times we leave that thought of bringing up the startup. हमें लगता है, oh, that startup, I was thinking about that startup, मैंने वो किया होता, मुझे भी idea आया था, but मैंने किया नहीं. Why you did not do it? Because maybe you did not do the research and you did not have that networking तो ये भी जरूरी है, I think.
Absolutely.
And then I think we now know your storm, which you went through, the networking and the other thing, you took an initiative and you set that up. I'd like to know, because you also mentioned that you come from a family, and most of us come from a family where our parents were in the government job.
Yeah.
So government job, they know that's a fixed thing. Sometimes even my dad asks me, why are you so tense? Yeah, job hi to hai. But then we say that in your time, you did not have fear of losing that job, or you did not have the priority of getting above. You know that after 4 or 5 years, ही आपकी promotion होगी. But for us, it is like the time is ticking every time, and there's no age limited, that you will have to be a specific age to get a promotion. So it's becoming more challenging for us. So in that era, now coming through that surrounding, how did the surrounding around you treat you? Like family, how did family support you? How did friends support you? How did this family which you were building in your new company support you to build this?
I think, like you said, we come from that era where a certain stability was more valued and was more driven. I think it's just a culture. I think it's changing a little bit now for the younger generation, but definitely, I grew up in that, where the moment I shared that I want to do something like this, the first reaction was, you are working for a very good company, you are earning well, you are getting recognized, you're growing in your career, then why change? There were those conversations around why and how you're going to make it happen, because there is unfamiliarity on how all this will work, right? It's not like there was a lot of experience in the house or the immediate trust circle that this is going to happen. And I think a lot of people did not believe, like even when I shared in the organization that I'm planning to leave, they were wondering, I might be going to a better job or a better salary. Or a better leadership role I might be offered. And I said, I have not even given a single interview. And that was
quite a surprise.
Quite a surprise. And people were taken aback. Are you sure? So they were taking me for teas and lunches and like, okay, eventually. So are you going to be in Pune or Bangalore or somewhere else? I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I haven't interviewed. I'm very much here. And so it took a while I think that's the culture piece. Like, doing something out of the way. First meets with surprise rather than, and while in my startup journey, I came across.
You have to convince a lot of
people
around, and then yourself for the first thing.
Yeah. And at the same time, you have to convince yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're grown up with the thought process that stability is good. And you have to challenge your own biases in that journey. And I guess at some time addressing that takes more energy than addressing what's coming from the surrounding.
And I think that is very well said, because if you are coming up with any idea, you will have to believe and buy in your idea yourself first, and then the world will buy it in. And then you can negotiate with the world. You will have to first make yourself at peace with the idea which has come up. Now with this, I think it will be very useful for my audience if you could say 3 things which someone should think of before, because it's very easy in any organization, and especially I would say during April, March, it becomes notion in every I think corporate that bhai agar mujhe rating achhi nahi mili, appraisal nahi mili, this time I'm going to do a startup. But that is not so easy to take it on a fluke and do it.
Absolutely.
So what will be the 3 important things which an individual should start thinking at just the time when this idea germinates in your mind that you are now going to do a startup?
I think one must, before I answer, what are those things, one must understand that all learned in school, right? We all did the exercise of germination, just using the word that you mentioned, that it doesn't happen in a day. It doesn't happen in 2 days. It takes time. Some seeds don't burst open and bloom until 10 days. I think lotus or someone takes the maximum amount of time when the bulb will open up and the flower will start, or even the stem will start growing. And I think it's the same with the startup idea. It takes time. The stemming must have happened a while back, and the action on that comes after the good research and building your own confidence of taking it forward. Rather like to answer that it's not 3 things, it's probably only one, the most strongest thing that makes that shift, and that's passion.
That's passion.
So you have to have unapologetic passion to take things forward. Baki sab figure out ho jayega, right? Where will I open office? कैसे seed money होगा या what will I do? How will I hire people? ये सब figure outable है. And there are agencies who are going to help you to do it, because you cannot do it alone. You will obviously take help from the network, from the system. And I think over the past few years, that system has become very strong. There are startups for startups, right?
There are startup for startups.
Yeah. Okay. You can take help from the agency, but passion आपको कोई नहीं दे पाएगा. Passion आपको अंदर से लाना है. It is you. You have to bring it and you have to keep it alive.
Yeah. And I think it's very well said by, the Bollywood king in one of his movie that, किसी चीज को अगर शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात जुड़ जाती है आपको मदद करने के लिए. And I think that is eventually true in all spheres, not one. I think everything needs that passion, and also that, everything gets aligned. The universe gets aligned for you if you have to keep that.
And on that, Rumi also has a quote on that. What you seek, seeks you.
Yeah.
And I have experienced it firsthand, right? Like during this journey, if I needed some help, suddenly a contact came up in the network that they can support us, right? Yeah. So things like that, you will discover, you will uncover. But shiddat se sochna hai.
So now coming to the other part, you have taken a decision, you have made a decision, you are concrete on it, you have a passion, and you start walking into it. You have convinced everybody around. Now it's the time to walk on that path. So what are the challenges you faced and you think that others also face in the initial days?
That I would also like to tie that, it was very important for a very supporting environment. One thing that made me go was just a simple statement like, agar koi kar sakta hai to tu kar sakti hai, right? They also don't know what is going to happen. I'm working in a very niche engineering space, and not everyone understands it in the immediate environment. So, but they were like, probably it's the attitude that is required, and agar koi kar sakta hai to kar sakti hai, gave me a lot of boost in confidence that yes, I'll figure it out and I'll do it, right? So I just wanted to mention that was very important for me to propel forward in whatever I was thinking. Like I said in the intro, it's been 5 years since I started. So if you calculate it backwards, it was during COVID actually.
Yeah.
I would say not during COVID. I mean, a year before COVID is when the brewing had started कि कुछ करना है and इस direction में करना है, and the research part, the homework part had already started. But the actual plunging into it happened actually just 2 weeks before COVID.
2 weeks before COVID.
Yes.
And then
so last day of my job was just 2 weeks before COVID. In that 2 weeks actually, nobody knew what was coming. Right? And we didn't know the lockdown will happen and things like that. But in that 2 weeks, I was actually doing a course on women entrepreneurship. And I was also, along with my co-founder, was meeting with paperwork that was required to register the company, right? And also obviously meeting people, scouting, okay, logo kaisa hoga, website kisme banayenge, kya usme, what would be the content, starting content in that. So we were figuring out all of that. And I think I cannot say there were any other challenges other than COVID, because that trumped all the other challenges that one might face in starting up.
That is very humble of you that you're talking about that challenge with a smile. But I know in reality, it was very bad time for entrepreneurs. For everyone it was, but at least people in corporate were not much affected financially, I would say. Because our jobs were running work from home.
Yeah.
But for startups, for entrepreneurs, for businessmen, it was
very tough.
Just very tough times. Is there any incident you would like to share when you felt, that was it a wrong decision made or something like that? Did you have that day or that kind of feeling in those days?
Of course, there were moments which, at the silence of the night when you're thinking and reflecting, was the timing wrong? The other side of the coin is that nobody knew this was coming. This was not in our control. So now what can we make the best of it? And the other positive thing that happened that boosted the energy was while, in that period, all the paperwork was done, the company registration letter we received was on 1st May.
On 1st of May.
Labor Day.
Labor Day, okay.
So आप देखो, government is working, right? They approved our application to start this company and got the letter on 1st May. So actually, Bluekei Solutions incepted on 1st May 2020. So it was quite positive कि, yeah, they are also working. Everyone's constrained, right? So they are also working, and now company has a formal recognition. Actually, the other positive side of COVID was everyone was accessible. सब कोई घर पे थे, and like I mentioned, I have a very strong network, and so I was talking to a lot of people. I was talking about the idea. I was sharing with them that the company is registered now, and they were ready to review my pitch deck. They were ready to tell me, think like this, why don't you think like that, things like that. So everyone within India and outside India, they were accessible. Even though COVID was a very, very big challenge, like you said, like especially for MSMEs, were impacted a lot. Startups and MSMEs, and I'm sure many of them shut shop because of the challenging situation at that time. When I reflect, I feel blessed to have had that opportunity to see the other side of the coin and just take that and move forward. By August, I actually started traveling. So I'm working with very core industry. And wahan pe, people are more comfortable meeting in person.
Yes.
And like I said, this is a very niche engineering area. It's much harder to explain virtually. कि हम कर क्या रहे हैं.
So for this, I think I'm also very curious, and my audience must be also very curious कि हम कर क्या रहे हैं. तो Bluekei Solution में हम कर क्या रहे हैं? If you can explain that and then move ahead, I think that will be very beneficial.
Sure, I'll try to explain it in a simpler terms. If we see any product around us, right? ये कैमरा है, cars हैं, हम फ्लाइट में जाते हैं. There are so many systems. आजकल हम robots भी देखते हैं, या sugarcane dispensing machine. So all of these are intelligent equipments. They're no longer mechanical components कि आपने material लाया, assemble किया, and now it's working. अब वो era चला गया है. The bullock cart era is gone. Every system now has embedded intelligence. It has a lot of electronics. It has a lot of mechatronics that is functioning together to move. अब हम कार चलाते हैं, हमें डैशबोर्ड में बहुत सारे फीचर्स चाहिए होते हैं कि टच स्क्रीन हो, वॉइस एक्टिवेटेड कमांड दे सकूं कि कॉल दिव्या, राइट? आई डोंट इवन नीड टू टच एनीथिंग. स्टीयरिंग में क्रूज कंट्रोल आ गया है. In order to make all this happen, right, the design teams, the engineering teams who are working to design these systems, there are, depending on the size of the system, you'll have 500 to thousands of engineers who are sitting and designing it. Okay? अब ये अलग-अलग disciplines भी हैं, right? There is mechanical engineer, there is electronics embedded engineer, there is hardware, electrical wiring harness. ये सब अलग-अलग skill sets हैं. तो हमारे organizations में अलग-अलग departments होते हैं which come together to make this product eventually, right? That's why cars are running, flight, they are flying, they're rocket, they're spaceships, right? Satellites हैं, सब में ये complexity है. But जब हम बनाते हैं तो कई बार क्या होता है कि हार्डवेयर ने क्या किया और सॉफ्टवेयर ने क्या किया, ये हम मीटिंग्स में आके डिस्कस करते हैं. अपना डेटा हम अपने एनवायरनमेंट में लिखते हैं. इवेंचुअली जब वो प्रोडक्ट बनता है, 3-4 साल में अगर वो प्रोडक्ट बनेगा, some will make in 1 year, some will take 4 years to make. By that time, there is a lot of loss of translation, loss of information lost in the process because it is discussed during meetings. कहाँ record हुआ है? So at Bluekei Solutions, what we help these engineering organizations is the framework to keep the data connected. So जो हमने decide किया कि मान लो automotive में हमने decide किया कि हम ये features देंगे इस कार में, तो embedded ने भी same समझना है, mechanical ने भी same समझना है, जो verify करने वाला है कि हाँ ये actually चल रहा है कि नहीं, उसने भी same language समझनी है, प्रोडक्शन वाले ने सेम लैंग्वेज समझनी है, लॉजिस्टिक्स वाले ने सेम लैंग्वेज समझनी है, राइट? सो हाउ डू यू बिल्ड दैट शेयर्ड अंडरस्टैंडिंग? तो वो डेटा, इंजीनियरिंग डेटा should be a single source of truth. There should be no multiple PPTs and Word documents flying around here, and maybe people leave the organization, तो वो data भी wipe out हो जाता है. So we are building a framework to build that single source of truth.
That is such a wonderful job. I could understand most of it because I come from the same technical background. But for you as an audience, I'll make it much simpler. So imagine karo, you are buying a car. So it is not one person building it, but there are hundreds and thousands of technology being there, and it is then assembled together, and that one product is built. So what she's saying is, if one thing goes wrong in between that manufacturing, then everything will go haywire and will have accidents happening in the road. So it is also applicable to everything. So she is trying to bring everybody together on the same page, and so that we build more better solutions. So that is a very, I think, productive thing you're doing. It was much needed, I think, for the entire world, because we are talking about entrepreneurship. We are talking about how can people get encouraged to do so. So we have already covered challenges and the setbacks. Now, I would also like to add upon it that she has so well explained in such a humble way the challenges she went through. And if you could understand what she wanted to also bring it up, was that failures make you taste success, I would say, because until you see failures, you cannot analyze and understand from that difficult time what could be done better to make things go in a successful manner. Next time it should not happen. And I think with that same note, I would like to ask you my next question. What is the correct mindset, I would say, an individual should have facing these challenges or going through this phase? What is the correct mindset needed?
So when we talk about mindset, especially for making things successful, is to first accept that we don't know it all. I'm an engineer. I have not been taught how to read balance sheets.
Yeah.
But I have to do that as a founding member of the company. I have to audit it. I have to sit with the CA. I have to sit with the company secretary and do the due diligence. So we are a private limited company, so there's a lot of due diligence to be done annually with the company secretary. I have to sit with CA, even understand tax deductions, laws around MSMEs, things like that. So we don't know it all, and we got to seek that knowledge. We got to, doesn't mean I have to go and get a CA degree. It doesn't mean that, but it means that I should be open about learning new things. Wow. I have been fortunate in my career to move from an individual contributor role to a managerial role. At one point, I had 45 member team. So I have a bit of experience on managing people. Now, at this point, the way we are structured in the organization, we have managers managing the team, right? Yeah. So how do I have the skill sets to manage the managers? No. I have to go and learn that, right? I have to be open about that thought. The moment I get the feeling that I know it all, probably that's a path to failure.
That's a wonderful thing. I think that is one of the common mistake, I would say, people do, because once you start running into the path where you wanted to run, you midway somehow you lose that attitude, I would say, of learning. You think that now you're supreme, you own everything, and things will work on its own. She has rightly said that things will fall in place. Okay, it's all right, but then you have to be humble enough to know that there is a continuous improvement you have to go through. You should be open to learning, and then that's how you will evolve. I think as the world is evolving, everything is changing every day. Now we have AI coming in. People are skeptical about what would be the next thing in there.
Absolutely. And I think the other dimension to the same point is we have to unlearn to learn new things. What worked 20 years back may not work because the environment has changed, the ecosystem has changed. Gen Z has different outlook to life. So how do you make sure that together we are successful?
It is wonderful talking to you. I mean, I would continue this conversation, I think, for more 2-4 hours. But just to honor the time, I would like to ask you My last two more questions. One, if I ask you to talk to your younger self and tell them, अगर ये सही किया होता तो what would that be?
I've had a very interesting journey where I've grown up north, south, east, west of India. Uh, I've done double masters in design engineering, and so there are many times I get asked if you did something different. I would say my journey has shaped my thought process, my attitude to life, and I wouldn't want to change anything of that because it has shaped who I am today. I also believe that when we look back and think there are a million things I could have done differently, and that's going to drain my energy because I cannot go back to the past and change it. So अब मैंने दो masters कर ली हैं. I love that fact, and I know that I got the best out of both of them. At that moment, it felt like the best decision to take in life, and I went forward with it. अब मैं उसको पास में जाके change नहीं कर सकती, तो इसलिए मैं इतना नहीं सोचती कि मैंने I don't look at them as a mistake. क्योंकि आप उसका रिपरकेशन देखो. अगर मैं सोचूंगी कि मैंने अगर वो मास्टर्स नहीं कर रही होती तो मैं मेरे बैचमेट्स के जैसे आज एक इस लेवल पे होती लीडरशिप में. बट if I start comparing, it's going to drain my energy because वो कुछ भी हो सकता है.
And I think every individual is made differently, and it's more about the journey which we walk rather than the destination where we want to reach, because the destination might change, and it will be, believe me, it will be much more beautiful than what you expected. I think that is being rightly said by you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now I would also like to say that if you have to say something to women entrepreneur, because we see that for men it is very easy to think about a startup. Even if you are working and stable job, you have a stable job, it becomes very convenient for you to tell one day to your family that you have to now start living in say 10,000 rupees, and then I put the entire money into the entrepreneurship. The wife, if she is working, then it's a support. You can randomly take that decision and you can move and take a leap of faith and jump into your decision. And sometimes even if she's not working, the wife is supportive. Like I think in the case of Narayan Murthy ji, we have seen that how Sudha Murthy ji supported him, and which is why he's standing so strong and the world knows about him. So those are, I would say, ideal couple where men were in front and the women were the pillar of support. Now when it comes to women, I find two situations here, and I would like you to answer both. One, I feel it has becomes somehow easier for a girl who is not married to take up entrepreneurship. The only thing she has to fight, I think, is the family and convince that I'm not going to marry so soon. Or if she has a partner who is ready to agree, it becomes easier. But for women who is married, is it a good job? And if she has to do something, I know what the challenges are and how they feel, but then what would you tell to them?
Actually, I feel that the struggle is to each of its own, whether married, unmarried. I think the first thing I would like to tell women, and working in that space of traction and retention of women in core engineering areas or core technology areas, be it corporate or in any other shape and form, is to always keep your aspirations alive. First of all, it is okay to have high aspirations, but very importantly, it is to keep your aspirations alive. Of course, we keep adjusting because of family pressure or other things that are coming from the environment. Look at them as maybe it's a glitch. Maybe it is, something can be figured out around it. Career is a 30-year career span. Everyone has that. After undergraduate, 30 years is very long. उसमें 6 महीने का pregnancy break, it's not going to impact that 30 years. It's only 6 months. So the moment you start looking at it, move across the hurdle of keeping your aspiration alive, that's going to stay for the long term. And there's a lot of help out there. You'll find mentors, you'll find coaches. There's a lot of things in the ecosystem that can help you. But the most important is the self work, the inner work, because nobody is going to do that inner work for you. People will start supporting the moment they see the passion that you're bringing to the table. You can notice it. Anybody can notice it. How you are talking, I can see that sparkle in your eye, and I think you are able to see that same with me.
Yeah.
And that's why we are enjoying this conversation. And other people will also notice, family will also notice, friends will also notice. The moment they will see, nahi, ये बहुत passion से बात कर रही है, let me support, right? So वो भी आ जाएगा, but वो passion दिखना चाहिए, right? Unknowingly, और sometimes क्या होता है कि कई बार हमें explicitly बताना पड़ता है, दिव्या, I'm very passionate about systems engineering and what I'm doing at Bluekei Solutions, and it's okay to communicate. It's okay to state it explicitly, क्योंकि कोई अंतर्यामी नहीं है, right? My mom is not an engineer.
समझता कि आप क्या मतलब what you are going through, what you are feeling.
Sometimes they may not. So we should not assume ki, my family members, my parents should understand. Sometimes you have to go, because they are not from that background. They are not doing what you are doing. So sometimes it's okay to say, I'm very passionate about this. This is the kind of problem I'm trying to solve. This is the kind of impact that I'm making. And be explicit about it. So communicate open, but वो communication भी तभी आएगा जब अंदर से
passion होगा,
वो passion alive होगा.
क्योंकि बहुत सारे cases में I think हम देखते हैं passion शुरू में बहुत होता है, मतलब 5-6 महीने बहुत है, but then उसको self मतलब वो motivated रहना, उसको alive रखना, that fire should be alive for a longer period, and you are the only one responsible for keeping that alive for a longer period, no matter what others are supporting you or not, whether you are facing failures, you have to stay strong for yourself first, and then the world will stay behind you. And it was such a wonderful conversation we had right now. I think my audience got a lot to know, a lot to get inspired, and to start their journey of chasing your dreams. Here I would like to tell you 2 things to do. One is stop worrying about the what ifs. You should not think of what ifs, but you should start talking about what next. Because what next is something which will keep you rolling down the lane, because you're not sure, you're still, you know that this was a destination, but that destination might just be a tip of the iceberg. There might be a lot more for you to achieve. So please share this podcast with everybody who are walking in the same journey, or also to the people who needs it, because this is going to be very insightful, helpful for everybody in this generation where things are randomly changing. With this, I would also like to request you all to please like, share, and subscribe my channel, where I bring these contents which instigates that quotient of what next. So keep watching my next episode, which will be again a different story, a different journey, which will again going to inspire you. Thank you so much for watching us.
Thank you, Divya.
Thank you. It was great.